Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Dolores Tarver. I'm a licensed psychologist here in Georgia, and it is time for the Tea. Tea Time with Dr. Tarver is a wellness-based podcast. It is not intended to be a substitute for a relationship with a licensed mental health provider. We made it to February, or February made it to us. Either way, we are going to be focusing on relationships this month. That is my most requested topic. And of course, February is a good month to do that when we are talking a lot about loving relationships and good heart health and Black History Month and all of the good stuff. Like February's just got a lot of good things in it. Protecting ourselves, moving away from negative things. Of course, we want to move toward no female genital mutilation. We're talking about health and wellness across areas. This month, the Black History Month theme is African Americans in the arts. So it's just a lot of good stuff going on, right? So why not talk about some good relationship stuff this month? So frequently I get the question about whether or not a person should stay in a relationship. Have I given it enough time to make sure that I've done everything that I could do? Is it healthy for me? How do I know when it's not healthy for me? When are times when I need to kind of grow in my own awareness of who I am and how I show up in relationships? And when is it something that's detrimental to me? So let's get into it in this episode entitled Loving or Losing Me, Determining When to Let Go and When to Grow. So I am very much a song kind of young lady. I enjoy a good ballad. I like a good heartbreak song. I like a good love song, anything that has passion in it. However, what we do know is that music is an opportunity for people to express things that we may have experienced and from their perspectives, how they've addressed them. It isn't always necessarily their own personal experiences, but maybe things they gleaned from others in their life. And so Selena Gomez has a song, Lose You to Find Me. The lyrics, you promised the world and I fell for it. I put you first and you adored it. Set fires to my forest and you let it burn. Sang off key in my chorus because it wasn't yours. I saw the signs and I ignored it. Rose colored glasses, all distorted. Set fire to my purpose and I let it burn. You got off on the hurtin' when it wasn't yours. We'd always go into it blindly. I needed to lose you to find me. This dancing was killing me softly. I needed you. I needed to hate you to love me. So why did I kick it off with that? Because I think that it highlights a few of the areas that I think will help us determine whether or not we're in relationships that we may need to let go of, or in relationships where this may be a growing edge for us and something that we can continue. Let's talk a little bit about infatuation. I think that most of us have a storytell version of something in our heads. Maybe it is this very attractive person that you think wouldn't even give you the time of day, but you just think they're so handsome or so beautiful, and you see them, and this particular day they pay you attention, and you find yourselves talking and getting involved in a relationship. Maybe that fantasy for you is this person sweeping you off your feet when you've had all these negative experiences in relationships. Or perhaps you are grieving and you are hurting. You lost the love of your life and you get this second opportunity at love. But whatever it is, all of us have some, to a certain extent, a romanticized view, I think, of love. And we have to be very careful with that. So, what infatuation looks like sometimes is we think we found this perfect person. And really, it is that we love the idea of them. Infatuation, usually, the fire burns fast and furious very quickly, but it isn't able to be sustained. We think our life will be better because of this person. Oh, when I have this person who has this, oh, they'll keep me on track. They'll allow me to be able to reach goals. They'll push me. They'll want more from me. I will be a better version of myself because of this person. And what we end up doing is we get into a relationship with a person with whom we're infatuated, and that's not how it works at all. In fact, you will often find yourself sacrificing your own values and needs because you want to drop everything and be available to this person. And you are thinking that they are whatever this dream version you have of them in your head. I frequently tell people we date potential, we date people and not potential. But I think infatuation lets us live in the potential. Maybe it was really good in the beginning because that's usually how infatuation works. You're amazing. Maybe the sexual intimacy was amazing. Maybe the conversation was amazing. Oh, you actually paid for dinner instead of us having to go Dutch. Maybe you weren't asking me for money. So many of us, I think, sometimes feel like people just use us for what we have. Maybe it felt like you actually saw me as a person. You cared about what I was interested in. And so now all of a sudden, those things are not there anymore. It's different. But I'm still holding on to what the relationship was or what I thought it could be. And so now I find that I'm not able to relax because now I'm concerned about who you're spending your time with. There's jealousy, there's anxiety, I'm unnerved. This person is frequently on my mind, but it's very intrusive and it's uncomfortable. And that's because it's infatuation. There aren't any real roots to the relationship. It's not grounded in anything. And so all of those red flags that I have been ignoring, they are flapping all in my face, and I'm trying to move them out the way so I can see you, person. But it really was just the idea of you, not who I saw. And sometimes because we haven't had things that we've desired and we're missing things, when somebody just gives us a little bit, we can just clamp on, hold on so tight and try to make it fill these holes for us. And we think like, oh, no, it can get back there. But it's not going to get back there because the there that we thought it wasn't really there in the first place. So then let's shift to relationships of obligation. And a lot of times people struggle with this. And so let me be very clear for you. If you are married and your spouse has a health condition, maybe they were diagnosed with cancer, maybe they were in a significant accident, or they've had a serious illness, I am not by any means saying to you, abandon your partner. That's not what I'm saying. What ends up happening is we feel responsible for people who we don't have that actual connection and relationship that we built. We just feel responsible for them, maybe because they went through some hard things in their lives, or maybe they were doing really well the first year we dated, and for the past 6 years they haven't had a job, and I've been taking care of them, not because they cannot work, but because they're choosing not to. They have gotten comfortable. And sometimes what will happen is people will kind of lure us in, and then they'll show up and be the people that they really were. People will say they sent their representative. I say they were just acting in a play. And eventually that person has to come off stage and get out of that character and be themselves. And so now you're actually seeing the actor themselves and not the character they were portraying. When you feel like you should be doing something, oh, if they don't have me, who will they have? Or maybe on the other side of that, they may punish me if I don't show up for them, or there may be some retribution. I'm going to pay for it, so I might as well do it. It feels like a burden to you, and you're developing resentment because you have been pouring so much into this person and trying to take care of and lift up. I think a lot of people will tell me like, I've been trying to be in their corner and support them because they were there for me. But what ends up happening is now I can't remember a time when you showed up for yourself more than you're having me show up for you. Relationships of obligation. Then we have relationships that we're in because we're insecure. We don't want to be by ourselves. We're afraid that if we're not with this person, we won't have anybody. We're afraid that if we ruffle any feathers, this person will leave us. We believe that we're not lovable, and so we have to settle for what we can get because there's not a lot of characteristics about us that people would want, and nobody's beating the door down to get to me. We may think that our worth is determined by being in a relationship, so we will settle for any kind of relationship just so we don't have to feel like we're by ourselves or that we feel unworthy. Even if I feel that way, this person is making me feel insecure sometimes because they're doing things to me like I know they're cheating on me, and I know that they're disrespecting me and they're talking about me behind my back and they're saying very mean and critical things to me and they're not treating me really well. But again, I am concerned about the what ifs. Well, what if I don't have them? Am I going to be able to take care of myself? Am I going to be able to stand on my own? Maybe you're a person that's never not been in a relationship, so you don't even know what it would look like to be without a relationship, and it's painful to you to even think about that. Um, right. So these are some of the I think the times when I would tell you to be very mindful about what you're losing in order to stay in that relationship. The infatuation, the obligation, and the insecurity. Those are the big three for me. So let's talk about what a loving relationship looks like. So when I might just need to grow, right? Because those insecurity, obligation, and infatuation might be things where I maybe I need to leave because this is draining me, this is hurting me, this is causing me pain, and it's keeping me stuck, and I'm shrinking and I'm losing myself. But let's talk about when I'm in a loving relationship and maybe I'm not where I could be, right? So a loving relationship looks like mutual respect and support, encouragement, a deep connection to each other, also a commitment to each other, and being able to respect individually what you want to do as a person and your goals and your purpose, and not feeling like you doing that takes away from who you are to me in a relationship. That I can cheer for you, and that I celebrate you, and that's celebrating us as well. But that you don't have to always be with me all the time, that you can have some space to have your friendships and do the things that give you meaning and purpose, right? And so because I'm secure in who I am, and sometimes what ends up happening for us in these relationships is that we're not secure in who we are. So now I'm the person that's the insecure one in this relationship with someone who is secure, and I feel very threatened every time they're around other people, and I'm accusing them of things. So I'm constantly trying to check their phones, constantly asking them where they are. I want to show up to places that they are. I'm drilling them, right? This is a growth area for me, and maybe one where I need to come on plug for therapy. Think about whether or not I need to be in some therapy before I get into a relationship with someone, if that's the place I'm in. Being able to be honest and truthful with each other is an important part of a loving relationship. And sometimes we misrepresent ourselves because we don't feel like somebody will give us what it is we desire. So what ends up happening is I will tell you that I want a committed relationship, but I don't actually really want a committed relationship. I want us to be in a relationship, but I want to be in relationships with other people. So I didn't give you all the information that you needed in order for you to make a decision about what type of relationship you wanted to be in. I took away your consent. You all know I'm big on consent. Or perhaps I told you that I had maybe more financially, with regard to not the things piece, but being able to manage finances. This is one of the big areas that ends up causing problems in relationships is I misled you and I wasn't honest with you about how I managed resources and money. And so I'm coming into a relationship with you with a lot of debt, and this goes back to the obligation piece, right? And so now a person feels obligated to help you out because they care about you. Because what we'll do is we'll invest in people before we actually get to know them, when dating should be about data collection, right? And so now you're underdeveloped in this area of being able to manage finances. And so now you are draining this partner, this spouse, because they're having to go and fix things because you're creating challenges for you all. Maybe you're a person that misled with some of your habits. Maybe you've got a habit of drinking excessively, and that drinking excessively has caused you to have health problems as a result of that. Or you're smoking, or you have bouts of significant depression. You disappear and you don't communicate, and it's a struggle to even understand what's going on with you, right? And so you misrepresented yourself because you felt like if this person truly knows who I am, then they wouldn't choose me. And so because of that, now this person is in a relationship with you and you're not able to have intimate connection with them, communication. It is important for us to be able to express ourselves and have safe spaces. And what happens is now I'm not creating a safe space because I'm not actually as developed in that area as I need to be. And so this is a growth area for you too. Are you able to communicate? Are you able to honestly and openly communicate? Are you able to express your feelings? Are you able to do so without yelling and throwing things and walking off when things get tough? Are you able to resolve things? Are you able to be able to problem solve effectively? Do you have the capacity to be able to recognize when you've done something that was hurtful and apologize for it, right? And this is one of those growth areas. Maybe I need to grow in those areas. And I probably need to, again, and this is the honest assessment part, need to be honest with myself first before I can be honest with someone else. that's an area I need to nurture before I get in a relationship with somebody. People think that they can work on things that are big issues while they're in relationships. That's not how that works, because you're going to take that into the relationship. It's going to cause additional problems and confusion, and it's going to solidify these habits that you're recognizing are a challenge. So it doesn't work that way. Being honest with people about what it is that you desire and what you need from a partner, but also being able to love someone in their love language. Sometimes we want to give people what they want, what we want them to have, and not what they actually desire. And so, are you able to love someone in their love language? Are you able to be a person who shows up and is consistent? Some of you are like, hey, I'm going to show up. When I show up, it's going to be great. But then when I don't feel like being bothered, then you're going to see this other side of me. And, is that fair to a person? Have you disclosed to a person that that's your pattern? Would they ultimately choose to be in a relationship with you if they knew that about you? Do you have a history of having conflictual relationships? Do you have family relationships that are conflictual, and so you're bringing someone into a chaotic environment? Those are times when it might be best for you to be able to grow before you get into a relationship with someone, or areas when people bring to you that you can be honest about and say, you know what, I can do better with that. Let me go get the resources and support I need in order to do that. Okay, so what will I leave you with? Growing is a choice. So if you choose not to grow, that is still a choice. People will say, oh, this is who I am. Take me as I am. If you can't deal with me like this, then you can go ahead and go, right? And they say that because that is their way of saying, if you stay with me, you are accepting whatever it is I'm willing to give you. And so it's very important for you, one, that you can make an informed decision, which means you have to have all available information in order to make an informed decision. And this speaks to the communication piece. We need to really talk about what a healthy relationship would look like. What are my priorities? What's my foundation? What did I learn about relationships? What do I value? How do I love people? How am I able to receive love? Right? So these are some of the things that you need to ask yourself as you're trying to determine whether something is a relationship you need to leave because you're losing yourself in it, or it's a relationship that's important and you want to be able to grow to love this person and yourself in the way that you deserve, or that you need to take a period of relationship sobriety and work on some things before you get into a relationship. All right, be well.